well. So we still keep working on Strada. In fact, I live in North Hollywood, which was sort of sandwiched between three fires. And the entire Strata team works here. We work in my living room to save money. We work in my living room to make sure that we're able to make the most of all the efforts that we are doing to build here. We are really having fun as a team building this product, and I'm going to start taking you through what we've been building over the last 18 months and take you through what we've got planned in 2025. So all of this is really exciting. So one more minute before we kick this off, as we've got YouTube and Instagram. Instagram Live is hard. It's always a little bit harder. It's always a little weird. But I'm glad that we can incorporate that for people that want to just chime in and take a look. Now, here's a good thing. I've got the ability to hear questions. So when people ask questions about anything, I can answer them. And I'm also a member of the Academy. And while I kick this off, it's Oscar season and we voted for our nominations. And I just want to say, if you're looking for movies that are sleepers that you really want to check out, a lot of people have heard about the movie September 5. September 5, shot by Marcus Forderer. Marcus is an amazing cinematographer. Marcus did an incredible job on this, taking a red Raptor and running around and shooting this. But that movie is so good for a couple of reasons. One, it's shot on 8K Raptor. It's an 8K movie, but it looks like 16 millimeter film. That's cool. The second thing that's great about it is it's actually a movie about workflow. I mean, if you're a filmmaker and you watch that movie, underneath the subtext of that film, it's a story about production workflow. It's amazing to see how that is captured and put in there. So if you're a workflow person, which is probably the only reason you'd be watching this today, the movie September 5 is a movie about workflow. It's a lot more than that, but it's definitely something that I really admire as a film this year, as a voting member of the Academy. Okay, it is time to get started now. Super excited. Again, my name is Michael, and I'm coming at you on Zoom and YouTube Live and Instagram Live, and just happy to have everybody here. So what is this all about? Well, we've got this new product called Strada. It just went into a public beta in December. So it's only been about 6 or 7 weeks since we went to public beta, and we've got a lot happening. Now, I'm not doing this by myself. We've got a great team here. My brother and co-founder, Peter, is on the call as well. We've got Margot, our line producer, and Austin, our head of engineering. The whole thing we're doing here is always better if you ask questions. Just ask questions. And so this is really important. I see Tim Johnson's on the call here. Tim, it's great to see you. Tim, hope you're doing well. And this is what's great is if you ask questions about what we're building and what we're doing and what we're talking about it, these are more valuable. We do these for you every single Tuesday. And some weeks we have 100 people paying attention. Some weeks we have 10. I don't care. If there's one person here, it's worth it to me just to get the information out there and to help you get through this stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about our vision for the product and our vision for the future. If you've known me, I'm always talking about what's around the corner, and I love talking about vision. And so that's really important. And then we'll talk about the overview of the product, our roadmap for 2025, which is unbelievable. I can't show you some of, oh man, I want to. We had a breakthrough yesterday, and there are only a few times in your life where you see something for the very first time and you recognize it's significant. That happened yesterday here in my living room. We have some crazy breakthrough technology. I'll show you a little bit of it. But it is so exciting. And then I'm going to show a full Strada demo based on the product that's available today in beta. We'll talk a little bit about pricing and wrap it up. But again, please ask your questions. If you ask questions, it's going to allow us to make this more interactive. On YouTube Live, if you can ask questions now as well, but you'll be able to see this later. And so if you see it later, just put you could always email us at beta@strada.tech. Or you could just go to my emails, michael@strada.tech. I'm not bashful about that. Okay, here's what's cool. You guys are group F A, B, C, D, E, F, six. We've been doing this 6 weeks here in 2025, and we are on group F. So thank you for being a part of this group F. Really, really exciting. So what, in fact, is Strada? What are we doing here? What is it about Strada? Why did we start this business? I had a good job at Adobe and I quit it. Why would I do such a foolish thing, right? Well, the answer is because we noticed a problem. And this problem is something that I think every single person deals with. And that is that creative teams are unable to consistently use the cloud across your workflow. See, when you're accessing media, some of it is on a local drive and some of it is on a cloud. It kind of looks like this. My guess is your footage is arranged like this. You have a bunch of your footage on a local drive, and that's where you can access it. But then you have a small amount of footage, maybe 10%, maybe a little less, on a cloud like Frame.io or Dropbox or Google Drive. And my guess is you're making duplicate files from drives and you're putting them in clouds. Then you have to share those files through the clouds, and then you have to download them and re-upload them and delete things and add users and make copies. All of that is, I think, a headache. And while the cloud brings a lot of value to the workflow, it also brings a lot of problems. Check this out. When we think about the fundamental core of any workflow, it starts with access to your media. You can't do anything without access to your media, right? You have to have it. So we have two ways to access your media. And in the whole world, there's only two ways to access your media. It's either on a local drive, and that can be as small as a matchbook or as big as a refrigerator, but you have a local drive, or it's in the cloud. And that's it. There's only two ways to access your media: local drives or clouds. Now, why do we like local drives? Local drives are awesome because they're super fast, right? You can have Thunderbolt 4, you can get 20 gigabits per second, no problem. They're really inexpensive. 1 gigabyte on a local drive is 6 pennies US, 6 cents. Very, very cheap to have a lot of storage on a local drive. And then they're very easy to connect with your software, right? Because most of the software you're used to create with, like Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, Resolve, Final Cut, even Nuendo, Logic, or Pro Tools, all of those tools, Nuke, Houdini, Maya, these are all tools that are local. So it makes sense that the footage and the computer and the software are all tied together. But there is a problem with local in that it's not collaborative. If your footage is on a drive and you want to collaborate, you got to make a copy, put it in the mail, send it to someone, or drive it to them, or walk it over to them. So hard drives are really great, except when it comes to collaboration. We all know, but the cloud is really good at collaboration, right? But the cloud is really slow because the cloud requires you to upload it. Most people don't have good upload bandwidth, so that slows it down. Also, the cloud's expensive. The cloud is 40 times more expensive per gigabyte than a local hard drive, which is why you have to pay for it month over month over month. And 1 terabyte on a hard drive might cost you, $20 or $30, but 1 terabyte in the cloud is going to cost you $80 or $100 every month forever. So it's way more expensive. Plus, the software, most software is not in the cloud. Some of it is, but a lot of software is local. So there's sometimes a problem between my software's here and my media is up in the cloud. But we love its collaboration, right? Because the cloud makes sharing files and reviewing them remotely easy. So that's really good. So here's the option here. What we're building at Strada is a combination in which we can take the benefits of local access on a hard drive and make it collaborative. That's actually what we're trying to do here. And so I see Dino here is joining us. Dino, we've got some big updates here for you. You're going to love it. But this is really what we're after here. We got Strada will be the only product that's actually really working hard to build the benefits of local drive and collaboration at the same time. Dino, you're a really good example because you have like 500 hard drives and you're always porting into them and screen sharing and remoting into them. So you like the ability to turn hard drives into remote tools. That's what Dino Georgopoulos is really good at. However, Dino, it's really hard to set that up, and it's still hard to share the media to anybody else. security, sharing, users, all that stuff. We are fixing that, and we're building something totally new that is the best of both worlds. That's what we're really trying to do here. Now, that's what we call Strada. Strada is Italian for the word street. And in Italian, when we say street, we basically mean a journey. And so we think workflow is a journey from point A to point B, and we want to help you through that journey. And that's what Strada means. Strada is the collaboration platform at the center of every video production. See, Strada is not, we're going to show you some great features, but Strada is all about centralizing collaboration. So don't think of Strada as just a search tool or a commenting tool or a review tool or a sharing tool. It's a centralization tool that can review and comment and share and things like that. And so that's what it's all about. And one thing that's important to us is we are unlimited users. We don't charge for users. And so we want you to be generous by bringing people into the product. And then we don't charge for storage because the storage is already in the cloud today. And as I talked about a moment ago, it will be in your local storage soon. That's what we're building now. And then we want to be a one-stop shop that allows you to do a lot of your workflow in Strada and have the benefit of cloud and local at the same time. Okay, so how did we get here? Well, we basically have three pillars of the platform today. We had to build our core functionality and our phase one features. We did that in 2023 and 2024. And what we're doing this year is phase two. So if we start with our core platform, what do we have today? Well, one of the things that's really cool about Strada that's different from other products is bulk actions. There are tools that can transcribe, but we can transcribe 500 assets together, because I know in workflow, I never have one asset. I always have 1,000. And so bulk actions is really important. We made that scalable. We've brought in user management. We've brought in security. In fact, Strada does not train off your data. We do not allow people to train AI models off your data. Each account has its own virtual private cloud so that you are basically protected, and your media is never sent outside of Strada to have analytics. It's only done within the platform, so it's much more secure. Now, when we think about the features we delivered so far, well, the features in our Strada beta are really cool. You can connect 3 different clouds, Frame.io, Dropbox, and Google Drive, and you can connect as many accounts of those at the same time. There are people that have like 5 Dropbox accounts all collaborating together in Strada. And it costs, we charge you nothing for that. It's so efficient to collaborate that way. We're also doing video and audio analysis. So we're doing analytics of picture and faces and objects. And then we're also doing transcription and translation. And then we allow you to export that so you can metadata search it. And we're really making some really cool and powerful metadata search tools, which are great for archives and great for workflow and great for dailies and things like that. So here are a couple of examples of using Strada that I really like. So the first one is, have you ever wanted a single place for all your media to live so that you can interact with it? Well, that's effectively what we built here. If I click right here, this is Strada. I'm running this in Chrome. You can see this is Chrome. Hopefully on Instagram Live, you can see that on the other screen. These are all my projects. And so all my projects live here in one place. But over here, I can show you that I've got Dropbox connected, Frame.io connected, and Google Drive. So I've connected 3 clouds together. There is almost no other product in the world that can collaborate 3 different clouds to each other. And I can set these up. When you set up these cloud connections, I'm not kidding. It takes maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds at the most, and you're connecting these assets together so you have centralized access. Then I can go and click on the people here, and now I can invite members. And now everyone that I want to invite into my account can be part of it so they can share, and I can control what their permissions are so that we have a security option for what access they have and what are the functions they can do. So Strada starts with centralizing all of your collaborators together. And there's really 2 cool ways to do this. Check this out. In this account, I have my account. So in my private account, my personal account, I can have all my projects that are broken down by projects. That's one way to do it. So if I have 15 projects, I'm going to have 15 different projects. But check this out. Because we have here what we call workspaces, you can add Strada workspaces. Each workspace is $20 a month. Flat rate, $20 a month. You can add unlimited projects, unlimited users to those workspaces. So in this account, I've got a bunch of projects in one account called Michael's account, but I could make a workspace just one project. So if I go to the Rattled workspace, check this out. In the Rattled workspace, now all the projects are tied to the workspace of the project Rattled. So I have my case study, my trailer, my sharing project, my behind the scenes visual effects, my cuts, my composer, and my dailies. So if I click on dailies, I can see all my dailies here. You can see all the dailies here for Rattled. If I go to my composer, I can see all the music that was pulled, and I can look at that. If I go to my cuts, I can see all the days that I had different rough cuts that were generated, right? And so this is an example where a workspace can be set up for a specific job, $20 a month, or I can quickly switch to a workspace that has as many projects as I want. Those are just different ways to set up, and it makes it easier to manage who you invite and what access they have to. But you notice how fast I can switch between entire workspaces and go into a project and click on an asset. This is really fast. I'm in the daily, I'm in the Rattled one. I go to now to my account, and I'll go to this, and now I'm playing back a different asset or clicking on this. So this is really cool to be able to switch between different workspaces, which is really powerful. Okay, so now how about this one? Have you ever had trouble finding a line of dialogue from a script? I love this workflow for dailies. If you're looking for a better dailies workflow, Strada has it, and here's why. Strada is able to analyze all your files. And when you analyze, you can search by locations, names, objects, even the slate information, or a line of dialogue. So in this case, check this out. Hopefully you can see this on Instagram. I've got 661 takes here. I'm going to show you something that no other product can do. I have 661 takes. You can see a whole bunch of takes from the dailies of this film directed by Flo Anderson. Now, if I'm a director or a producer or a writer or an editor, I often know what scene I'm looking for. I just don't know where it is. And that's why we break things down by days, which is such an annoying thing, but we all do it, right? And the problem is when you're looking for dailies, you're like, what day did we shoot at the diner, or where were we in the gas station? Like, that's how we think, right? But you shouldn't have to think that way. You should just think about what was happening in the shot. For example, if I know there was a line of dialogue where the actor said, grab a few extra things, I can just type the words grab a few, and it will find 6 takes right here. And if I load the takes in, and then I search for the word grab, it'll take me right there. And now we have the line of dialogue playing back.
Yeah, she just, needs me to grab a few.
So I was a little quiet for you on Instagram. Hopefully you could hear that. But check this out. I can go to the next take, right? Because I've already pulled the takes. I can go right there and now play it back again.
Yeah, she just needs me to grab a few.
So you can see how fast. Hopefully that's it's somewhat audible, but you can hopefully hear a little bit. But this is really cool because now I'll do one more take right here, and we go down, and I've got the third take.
Yeah, she just needs me to grab.
So here we've demonstrated that knowing the dialogue, I can search for a line of dialogue, find my takes, and watch those back to back. This would save a director 10 minutes of just searching and finding these assets and looking. So it's a great way to find things. Now, Seth's on. Hi, Seth. How you doing? He asked, I'd like to hear what you decided Strada will not do. Oh, that's an interesting question, Seth. What will Strada not do? Well, there's 2 ways to answer that. One is, what will it not do today? Like, what did we have to postpone? And what will it not do ever, right? Well, one thing that I think we're going to not do is actually have our own storage. We think that we don't want to have our own storage. We want all the storage to connect to storage you've already bought. That's an important distinction with the product. So we don't want to add storage to the pricing. Things could change in the future, but who knows, right? Another thing is, Seth, we are building a timeline so that you can start to assemble things, but we're not building an editor. We want to separate something from like a paper cut or a playlist editor versus a nonlinear full-on editor. And so we don't want to be a cloud editor. We want to be a cloud cut list machine and a playlist machine. And then a third thing I could think of, what do we not want to do? We really don't want to we're not really sure how everyone's going to be using tags for full-on archiving. So we're not sure if this is a product that's designed to go all the way back like 10 years and be like a media asset manager. Strada is more about your active workflows, projects you've done today and maybe in the last year or two. But if you want to go back like 10 years, a good media asset manager might be really good. So that's interesting. Another question here is, can I connect Google Photos or Amazon Photos? Well, that's a really good question. It looks like Array asked that. And so Array, or Arya, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that. RJ, I'm seeing this come in quickly. So Arjanal, oh, well, Pete, I see on Instagram Live, RJ, could we connect to Google Photos and Amazon Photos? That is something we want to do, RJ. And I think that's something that will be possible in the future. Today, we started with Frame.io, Dropbox, and Google Drive to start. And then we're going to plug in your hard drive. And so we want you to be able to plug in your hard drive. So what I'm saying, RJ, is what if you don't need Google Photos at all? What if you don't need Amazon Photos at all? Because you're paying for those subscriptions on clouds. What if you could have a hard drive at home and share the photos on that hard drive remotely instead of needing to upload them at all? That's the question we're asking you. And please tell us, is that something you'd want? A hard drive that remotely connects to the cloud so you don't have to upload. That would be really interested. Josh on YouTube asks, in the footage in the cloud, are those proxies created by Strada or are those proxies you create and then upload? So Josh, that depends. Here's something really cool. Strada does not need to make proxies. In fact, we have an extremely advanced player that allows us to stream big files and adjust the bit rate on the fly. So normally files have to be made in small proxies to work in the cloud. And I still recommend that, Josh. That's still a great workflow. But if you have larger files that you're editing with, Strada will actually convert them on the fly and send them out. So it is possible to play a ProRes file in Strada that's too big for your internet because we can compress it down. We're still optimizing that technology, but it's a new way of doing remote playback that is not typical. Most people have to make like a high, medium, and low proxy. Strada, we're trying to take the file you have and just convert it on the fly and make it internet friendly. And so that's a different version of how we actually work. I just showed you a really cool thing about searching for dialogue, but I want to show you something else about Strada. Our transcription is like the best in the world. It really is. Our users tell us it's the highest accuracy, but I'm going to show you how accurate it is. Not only can Strada transcribe all of your dailies, so you can search for dialogue in an interview or in dailies, but it can also search for sounds. Like if I search for the word screaming, it's going to find all the time that there's actual screaming. So screaming isn't a word that the actor says. Screaming is actually an action that someone hears. It's a sound. And so if I click on screaming and hit play, we can see Flo going crazy here, right? And so we've got screaming as a sound, so we could search for that. I can also search for something like music, and Strada understands when a song is happening and someone's actually like singing a song, which is a little different than someone just doing normal dialogue. So here you can see there's music playing, and it's actually understanding that if I click right there and hit play, we're seeing it's a song and it understands that she's actually singing. So this is where Strada is really unique in the quality of our transcriptions is that we're able to sort of decipher the difference. Now, Louis from Instagram Live. Louis, how you doing? You say, does Strada work with R3D? Okay. Louis, I want to say yes, but here's the honest truth with raw files. Raw files cannot be debayered in web browsers, right? Web browsers don't debayer, which is that decode process of raw files. And a lot of web browsers don't support a lot of codecs. Like even Chrome didn't used to support H.265. It's more recently supported that. So Strada has to sort of listen to sort of what some of the technology is possible or what the technology is capable of in Chrome and Firefox and Safari. So what that means is today we cannot debayer in these web browsers. Nobody can. But we are working on a way to maybe make that possible in the future where we're going to debayer it on your computer locally and then transmit the debayered result through the internet. Do you see what I'm saying? You let your computer do the debayer, which is what happens when you open it up in Resolve or Final Cut or Premiere today. It debayers it locally, right? And then we're going to take that local stream of that decoded file, and then we're going to convert that to a WebRTC and then stream it out. So if we can do the debayering on the hardware of your machine, then we can take an H.265 RTC stream of that and send that to the web. That's how we'll do it. So it'll take a little bit of time, Louis, but that's exactly where we're trying to solve these problems. Because if you say, can you debayer in the cloud? Well, not really, because if your cloud is being viewed through Chrome, you can't. So we have to figure out a solution, and we think we have that in the works. David on YouTube says, where does Strada fit into the edit workflow? For example, if I'm looking for clips in my edit software, do I have Strada open in the background, jump to it, and then search? So David, I actually don't think that's really the core value of Strada. See, what you're talking about is using the search while you're editing. There are tools that you can do the analytics in your editing system, or in Strada, you can, if you look at my screen here, if I right click, I can hit analyze, and I could analyze these clips, and then I could actually export them to an NLE. So here, if I want to export the metadata from Strada, I can choose to do that here to Avid, Premiere, Resolve, and Final Cut. And so there is a way to export this, but that's not the primary way of working, David. We think you should think of Strada more like your entire team's collaboration, where they're able to view dailies, view cuts, make comments, make your searches, build your bins, transcribe, analyze, and share. And that becomes more like a Dropbox or a Frame.io experience with Strada, but we have functions that Dropbox and Frame.io and Google Drive just don't have. And so we're adding way more filmmaker-friendly functions that the other companies have not created. And that's the difference. So you can use our search while you're editing, but we think you're more likely to use it as a collaboration platform, and you upload your cuts and you analyze and transcribe those. Just think about that. If you're uploading a cut from a rough cut to Strada, you can transcribe cuts. I'm willing to bet most people watching this here, you've never transcribed your rough cuts, right? Because it's an extra step, it takes time, and it's hard for a director to use. Not in Strada. It's so easy. You upload, you right click, you hit transcribe, and it'll transcribe the asset, and then you can search by that, and it can be a rough cut, it could be anything. And now searching by that becomes so much faster. Dialogue is such a great search mechanism. It's so powerful. Okay, here's another thing. Have you ever had trouble finding a video clip? What if you have to find a video clip and there's no actual dialogue? Well, check this out. So this is where look at this. I have 3,476 assets. Hopefully you can see that on Instagram. 3,000 assets here. Look at this. This is all nature footage. It's a huge amount of nature footage. And Strada is so good at analyzing. If I search, we had a lot of fires here in California, right, recently. So that's on the mind. If I search by fire, it's going to find all the shots where there's fire, right? If I wanted to search by an ocean. I can search by an ocean and it'll find all the shots of an ocean. If I wanted to search by a waterfall, it'll find all the shots where it finds a waterfall, and it'll bring us all those elements. So here we can see our waterfall right here. Right. If I wanted to search, and I can do a compound search, check this out. If I wanted to search for a grassland, it'll start to find, I'll zoom a bit here so you can see it. Find all these grassland clips. Okay. We can see some grasslands here, right? That looks about right. Okay. But I'm going to add to that birds. So I want to find grasslands that have birds in them. I spelled bird wrong. I need to spell bird right. That's important. Okay. Grasslands with birds. We find those shots. And then now I've got the birds in the grasslands. And then if I said I want to find a giraffe, now I've got grasslands with birds and giraffes. And if we play this file back, we can see, here we go, grasslands, birds, and giraffe, right? And so we're able to find that. Remember, there were 3,400 takes here, right? There's a lot of footage that it went through and found that. And, if whatever I want to search by, I'm able to find that. An elephant, I can start looking for that. This becomes really powerful so that a director can start making comments on this or understanding. Or if I wanted to make a bin here called elephant, right? So I made a bin here called elephant. I could select my favorite elephant shots. Let's just say I liked these 4 shots. I can drag them into the elephant bin. So I forget the name of the guy from YouTube, Pete, if you could put that back up. The last question from YouTube. I like that. Like, do you use this next to your editing system? Do you see what I just did? This isn't editing. This is a step that works with the editor. David, thank you, Pete. So David from YouTube, see, what I just did is something you could easily do in Premiere or Resolve or Final Cut or Avid, right? You could search and build bins. But see, that's what an editor's job is when you're cutting it. But if the director or producer or story editor or visual effects editor or sound effects editor, if they want to find their own elements, they can go in, find the assets, make their own bins, make their own searches, and share that out. And so the ability to find things, make bins, and assemble them is a different experience. And it's the collaboration experience because all of my users can live in Strada and all of these people can share the experience. And now we're sharing access and dailies and cuts and searching and transcripts and things like that. So that's why this is a lot different than just pure searching in editing. Now, here's another thing that's really powerful, and this will hurt, David on YouTube. This is something that probably has happened to you. If you get an interview with a language you don't speak, it often screws up the workflow. Now, there are some tools that have transcriptions or translations in the editing system, but the problem is most people on a production are not the editor. Right? Most people are a producer, writer, director, cinematographer. And so what we've got here is something really cool. Check this out. I'm going to search for the word painting. And I can see here, Strada found this whole section where this woman named Cioni is talking about painting. But listen to her voice.
开始学习素描，然后学习山水画。
It's really quiet. I don't know why my computer is so quiet today. It's much more quiet than it should be, which is weird, even though the sound's all the way up. Anyway, what's happening right here is that you're hearing Chinese spoken, but you're actually seeing it in English. So if I were to hide these extra angles and we turn on the captions and we play this back, we have someone speaking in Chinese, but look at this. I can actually switch to the Chinese, and now we're actually seeing the Chinese transcript, and we're able to switch to the English transcript. And so we can go between them at the same time and see where the transcript is, which is really cool. So now, regardless of the language you speak, you're able to actually see it in English or in Mandarin in this case. So this is a very cool way to share and make reviews. Now, I don't know, Pete, if we have the summary, if the summary is going to work. Maybe the summary is not ready to go. But here's something coming very, very soon, and that is transcription summary. You can see it right here. We're about to deliver transcription summary. So I can't demonstrate it to you today, But what we have here is the ability for you to take any of your transcripts, press the summary button, and it will allow you to generate a summary in short, medium, or long. And you can even prompt the summary of what you're looking for. So if you said, I want the summary to focus on their early life, or focus on their philosophy, or focus on their family, whatever, you can prompt the summary you want and then ask it to be a duration, and then it will generate that transcript. Austin says that we're going to push this towards the end, maybe an hour from now. So people will start be able to try transcription summary in beta, hopefully an hour from now. And that becomes a really cool thing. Here's a way that I'm going to use that. If I go to my episodes here, check this out. John, it sounds like you're an editor when you were on YouTube. Check this out. I can go into these episodes. So here I have like episode 35, 36, episode 21, 28. And what you'll be able to do is actually generate transcriptions. So here you can see this summary discusses how AI can help with logging and tagging large amounts of video. It describes going over 500 assets and totaling 13 hours of footage. The summary also discusses how some AI tagging approach could benefit for a scripted narrative project. So you can see here, I ran some test summaries, and I can even regenerate those summaries if I want to. So this is taking an episode, a rough cut. If you have to do YouTube descriptions, Strada has a fast way to take an episode, generate the description, so you don't have to write it out by hand, and you can do it over and over and change the prompts, and then you could just copy it to your clipboard and make it available. So very cool way to work from there. Okay, here's another thing. Have you ever wanted to watch multicam dailies? Well, this is a big deal. I don't know if you've been realizing it. Maybe you noticed, but Strada is playing back multicam. Strada is literally the only product in the world that can actually sync sound and picture and multicam assets together in the cloud. No other product is actually able to do that. So what's so unique about Strada is that we're actually syncing A and B cameras together. And it's really, really different because these files are actually not sunk together. So if you look here and I click on a take like this, you can see I've got A camera, B camera, and an audio is 2 Frank take 2. Well, let's look at the slate. 2 Frank take 2. You can see the time code 1441.51, 1441.54, 1442.41. Strada automatically analyzes the time code overlaps and assembles your assets together. Then we show it in a stack, and you can see 2 cameras plus audio and the little stack icon. These are not rendered together. This is all happening dynamically. This is the only product in the world that you can sync and stack multicam and separate audio in the cloud without rendering. There is no other product that does that. If I want to look at A camera, we can look at A camera. If I want to see B camera by itself, we can look at B camera. And if I want to play them back at the same time, now I can play them back at the same time. So we have the ability to swap between cameras and actually play them back. If I go to a transcription here and I go to the word cheers and I skip to the line cheers, let's click there. It'll take us there. It stays in sync, and we can see our characters playing back at the end of the timeline in sync, and we can read that. So we can see the transcription, we can see all this. So very, very powerful way of doing multicam. And it's a total new way of experiencing a multicam experience because directors can now watch, you can now actually watch these files, that work this way. Now, one of the questions is from Michael, can you manually slip audio if there's a drift? That is something that's coming very soon. We actually built the ability to do manual offsets. So that is something that's coming. You can see, Michael, there is a little mini timeline here. You can see the audio, A camera and B camera, and you can see they don't start at the same time. Hopefully you can see there's a little bit of a waterfall cascade because audio came first, A cam rolled second, B cam rolled third, and you'll be able to slip them a little bit to make sure that you can compensate for an offset. If your time code is correct, they will stay in sync. And if I click on a new clip here, this actor's name is Max. I'll go to the Max clip. It'll load that up and it assembles them in sync. And you can see here, it says 5716, 5716. Oh, and by the way, check this out. Remember here, it says the audio was 1 Charlie take 5. A good audio engineer on location recorder will name the files. Here's 1 Charlie take 5. Well, look at what Strada does. It actually names the clip 1 Charlie take 5. So if I wanted to search for 2 Frank, I could search by the slate 2 Frank, and it'll find all the shots of 2 Frank. So I can search by a slate in Strada if I know the slate, or I could search by the word. And if the word was the word cheers, now I could search for all the times they say the word cheers. And if I search by 2 Frank, I should be able to find where they say cheers in 2 Frank. And so now we go here and we can see where they say the word cheers. So we're kind of using these triangulations. I think there were 88 takes in this shoot, and we're able to, find things that quickly. So very, very cool technique there. Okay. Last one here. Have you ever wanted to automatically have your media log for you in a nonlinear editor? Some people might want to take all of the Strada analytics and move it to their editor. So check this out. Now, I'm going to do it first in Strada. If I go to Strada and I go to this project, this is called Camp Cache, and you can see it's a project up here. If I were to search by the character Beck, Strada does have facial analytics. You don't have it yet. It's in alpha. It's coming in beta very soon. But you can see I could search by the character Beck, and it found every time Beck appears. I could say, where is Beck by the lake? And now it's going to find all the time Beck is by the lake. And if I said backpacking, where does Beck backpack by the lake? And if I see there's only 3 results and I hit play, and here we can see a shot where the character Beck is actually backpacking by the lake. Well, look at this. I can go to Resolve and I have a bunch of media here, and all of the metadata, I know this is small, but all of the metadata is automatically logged for me in the keywords column. So Strada did all this work for me. So this is where John on YouTube, John, this is where you could actually import some of that metadata. So if I go into thumbnail mode and I search by the character Beck, right? So there we've got Beck. It's going to find every time she's here. Then I say, what did I say? I said she's by the lake. And so we type lake and then backpacking. And there, that quickly, I found the same shot of Beck backpacking by the lake. So I've done the same search in Resolve through importing the metadata from Strada. Resolve does this the best way too. I love how Resolve takes the metadata. It's amazing. It's easy. It's very clean, and it takes all of 30 seconds. They're really good at it. So that's a really powerful workflow. Okay, so we just showed you what we've been building, but I want to quickly show you where we're going in 2025. And this is really exciting. Where we're going in 2025 is we are focusing right now on local storage. Yesterday, I watched for the very first time something that I don't think anyone's ever done before. We connected 2 computers together, except one computer could read the hard drive of another computer as if it was local. Now, it's sort of like an experience like LucidLink. If you're familiar with LucidLink, where you can read the media like a drive, that's really cool, or Shade or products like that, except this is not in the cloud. It's a local hard drive. And so we're connecting local storage to your Strada account so that you can search for files on local storage, but they don't have to be connected to your computer. You can do it remotely. That means you can you can review collaboratively. So you can review all those assets on a local drive, not in a cloud. It also means it's possible to start editing those files, even though they're not on your computer. They're not in the cloud. They're on a separate hard drive. And then we also are building the Strada simple editing system, which is the playlist editor. And then we'll continue to build AI automations like our transcription or our translation. You saw our multicam. You saw face detection, slate detection, all that stuff. Here's a quick picture of our playlist editor. This is in the works, and this is Strada, the playlist editor, so that you can see that you'll be able to assemble clips and trim them by the tags, which is a really powerful way of working. And again, this isn't to replace the editor. this is to replace the editor. This is actually to be able to make playlists and rough cuts, or not rough cuts, paper cuts, right? If you want to do a paper cut, this is the perfect way to do that, to throw your things together and do a little assignment there. Okay, so now what we're doing right now is, if you're in the public beta, we certainly want you to try the new Strada public beta. There's a 2-week free trial. It's able to do quite a bit. But we are updating things all the time. And in fact, I think there's an update going right now that's going to give you the transcription summary right now. And so we'll get your feedback on the summary and how you want it to improve. But this is where the beta is out right now. So you could sign up today at strada.tech. And you can start getting into the beta. We will also put in the chat, if you're on Zoom or YouTube Live, you can see there's an invitation to our Discord server. If I tab over to Discord, this is where you can come in and provide feedback and give us ideas, and we can give tech support. So this is our users giving us insight and talking about, how they're using things and how the product's working for them and how we can make it better and stuff like that. So very, very cool features and access. So you can sign up for Discord and join the beta. We'd love to have you. And that's the best way to get connected to us. Now, someone asked earlier about stills. Today's Strada does not support stills. We're only supporting audio and video. So that's where we're starting. But we know you want stills and documents. We'll get to that point. But today it's audio and video. We also do not have manual tagging deployed, and the progress bar, I want to show you the progress bar just so you see it. Up here in the upper right, this little circular arrow, this shows you the progress bar. And if I were to click on that, it would tell me what job I'm actually running and how far it is along. If I click this little question mark, this is an embedded Strada is this is an embedded tutorial setup. So if you ever forget how to analyze media, or you want to remember how to generate transcriptions or invite collaborators, this little tutorial window can show you all that. Here you can see how do I import files into Adobe Premiere Pro, the metadata and searching. So if you ever get stuck, you can open up that little question mark and you can learn how to do that, which is pretty cool. Now, I am going to do a quick demo before we finish up. We have got about 15 minutes left. Thanks for everybody hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you all. I want to try a few support. We're going to put in the chat, if you want to follow along, and Pete, let me know if I'm good to go. If you want to follow along, then I would love to invite you to download some test footage. If you have your own footage, you're fine. But if you want to use the same footage I have, kind of Bob Ross style, you can do that. And if you're on the Zoom and you want a copy of this Zoom, we can send it to you tomorrow. If you're on YouTube Live and you want a copy of this, it'll be on our YouTube channel, at the Strada Tech YouTube channel, so you can check it out, and you could do this again. So Pete, let me know if I'm good to do this demo. No. Okay. Well, that's a problem. I'm told I can't do the demo right now. So basically, I don't know what to do, Pete. That's all right. What can I do here? Let me see here. I can go into some pricing stuff. Okay, so we're going to change gears here. So when it comes to what Strada costs, what we're doing is we're charging you for a platform, right? So you get access to the platform, and you got to think of it as a collaboration platform. And we're trying to be extremely generous with the price. $20 per workspace. Remember, a workspace means you can set up a workspace based on a person. So you can have a bunch of projects in that, or you can make a workspace specifically a project. Each of these workspaces is $20 a month. Now, you can get invited to other people's workspaces and you don't have to pay for that. They're paying for it. So when you get invited to someone's workspace, they're paying the $20 a month, because the beauty of this is we allow for unlimited users. So you can have as many users as you want. And what you get in here is we include in the $20 a month plan, you get 20 hours of included analytics. So that can be visual or audio transcriptions. or visual tags. That's included. If you want to go up to $60 a month, you get 72 hours of monthly analytics. So that can be video analytics, facial recognition, or transcriptions and translations. So for nonfiction, if you're doing a lot of nonfiction, that could be documentary, that could be even things like churches or schools or organizations or things like that that do a lot of recording with interviews and stuff. This is a great value. We are probably the highest quality transcription service for the lowest price. Again, $60 a month gives you 72 hours of transcriptions included, and you have unlimited users, unlimited projects, and you can bring in media from other clouds. So remember, Strada doesn't charge for cloud storage. You already have that through Frame.io, Dropbox, and Google, and then we're adding local drives later this year. We're hoping to show a proof of concept of the local drive in about 2 weeks. Then we'll go to NAB, and we'll show a minimum viable product, an MVP at NAB. So we'll be showing this local drive experience. And I'm excited to do that. So for those of you that go to NAB in April, we're going to have a hard drive here in Los Angeles, and I'm going to have a live Zoom like webcam on this hard drive in Los Angeles. And then we'll be at the convention center in our booth, which is in the South Hall. And then we'll be able to play back files in the South Hall from a hard drive in my house, except we'll be playing them back as if they're local. That's what we're going to be showing, which is pretty exciting. So when you think about local storage and you think about the hard drives and the clouds that we connect to, what we're really doing here is giving you a collaboration platform. You can review, you can share, you can make projects, you can make bins, you can invite people. All of that is included at these monthly prices for the entire platform. And we are building so many features. I mean, you can see we've got audio syncing, we've got renaming, we've got analytics, we've got transcription, we've got translation, we've got a transcription summary. We're building facial recognition, which is almost ready. Jeff asked, does Strada have panels with Premiere Pro? Jeff, we don't have any panels built yet. We're so new. We just got into beta a few weeks ago. We don't have direct panels into Premiere Pro. And as a thing with Premiere Pro, they're changing their panel architecture, and it's not clear to us when they've made that full transition. So Premiere's panel architecture is shifting, and I don't want to build it twice. And we're looking for clarity on that. We will eventually build Premiere Pro panel, absolutely, but we just need a little bit more time to get a little further along. Craig says, is this product for Hollywood productions or smaller productions? Craig, it's really for anybody with a team of 2 or more. If you have a team of 2, then you need to collaborate and you need to share, right? And so whether that's a Hollywood production or a school or a brand or a church, it doesn't really matter. It's all about collaboration. You do better work if you're able to collaborate faster and easier with less friction and less cost and less time. And so this really works for Hollywood productions, given we support timecode and multicam, but it also works for small productions, given we have transcription summary and we can do descriptions automatically for YouTube, and we can transcribe everything for you at super high accuracy, right? And we do it in bulk, and we do it really fast, and we allow you to bring in as many collaborators as you want, which is not a typical thing. So that's pretty cool. Ryan says, I saw different user statuses and classifications. Are there different prices based on the type of user? No, we do not have any issues with that. So the truth is, Ryan, if you're looking at people, you're able to control their admin privileges. And what that essentially means is, are they able to invite other people? Members cannot invite new people, and members can't create new projects, right? So that's sort of the difference. But the pricing, look, Ryan, we don't want people to think about paying for collaborators. That's other products. We're not that. We want people to be generous about who they invite to participate, and we want them to invite as many people as they want. Dennis asks, what AI models do you use for creating all this metadata, or do you build your own? Dennis, we do not build our own models. We don't want to build our own models because if you watch the news, new models come out so often and they disrupt each other. We don't want to be in that mess. That's like Godzilla and T-Rex fighting. We don't want to get in that mess. Instead, we want to leverage the best results of those models and plug them into Strada to make your experience better. So we transpose the models as they are built. And that, Dennis, is how we actually do that. Now, I do want to say, unlike a lot of products that use third-party AI models, we do not send the model. I'm sorry, we do not send your media to the model. We self-host the model. All the AI models we use, they are self-hosted. And so your media is in place. So we bring the model to your media where other companies send the media to the model. And that's where training takes place. We don't do that. And so that's a big distinction, very different. Chad asks, is Strada using proxy media? Is there a minimum quality required for playback of files in Strada? No, we do not make proxies. It is always to your advantage to have a proxy file available if you can. Okay. But Chad, instead, what we're doing is a real-time encoding of files. And so let's say you have a ProRes LT file and you're editing with ProRes LT. That's going to be about 80 megabits per second. That's actually kind of big for the internet, right? What Strada does is it takes that file and it compresses it down in real time to an H.265. And so we're converting it on the fly instead of you having to make all those proxies. Now, there are limits to what your computer can do to make this possible, and not everybody has the same computer. But essentially, Chad, we're trying to eliminate the need for proxies in the cloud. That's what we're trying to do, and we have some proof of that being built now. Chad also asks, are there any plans for Blackmagic Cloud support or LucidLink? Okay, Chad, there's something really interesting about what you're asking. I use LucidLink. You can see I don't know if I'm logged in right now to my Lucid, but usually I am. But I'm a Lucid user. But here's the problem. Neither LucidLink or Blackmagic provide a third-party API. Those companies are walled gardens. And for reasons I disagree with, they have made their cloud products exclusive to themselves. This is not going to work in the future because the future is all about interoperability. Companies that make walled gardens and make exclusive tools are not going to, they're going to regret those decisions because users cannot work with one cloud. We need different clouds, different products, different integrations. I love Blackmagic. I love their stuff, but I can't only live in the Blackmagic ecosystem. There's other things I need that they don't make. I love LucidLink, but I can't only live in their ecosystem. So those companies do not publish third-party APIs, so we can't connect to them. They don't make that possible for anybody else. But I'll tell you what, Chad, we're building something better because we're actually building a version of LucidLink because our local connection to local hard drives, we are going to be able to serve that media. So if we do this right, you won't even need LucidLink. You can have a RAID. You have a RAID, right, Chad? Like you've got a RAID you're editing off of. We want to take that RAID and put it online for your other editors so they can just read the files and play them back and edit them off your RAID through your home internet instead of having to upload all that stuff to the cloud because Lucid's charging you $80 a month per terabyte. And we won't do that. We're going to charge you $0 a month per terabyte because it's not our storage. It's your storage. So that's a different thing, Chad, that is going to, change. Josh on YouTube says, can the local storage be a NAS or is it attached to a computer? Yes, Josh. When we get to local storage, our goal is for that to also be a NAS. Yes, that will be a NAS so that you can do that. So that's, it'll be a NAS, a RAID, a SAN, or even your computer. Like you'll be able to literally share folders on your desktop to your collaborators if you wanted to. Think about the power of that. You'll be able to decide what folders you want to share, and you can make that available on your computer. But you could also do it on a RAID or a NAS, which is going to be amazing. So very, very cool. Well, what I wanted to do is, wrap this up here. Look, we're really excited to have you be a part of this. We need people to join the beta. And we need people to start testing the product. And we need to get you available so that when we start releasing the local drive storage connect, you already know the platform. Look, I'm asking you for a favor. I know that. Like, I want you to start using this to start putting all of your people in it. Start putting your files in like a Dropbox or a Google Drive and start using that to start sharing, and then build projects, build teams, start doing workflows, build sync, build dailies, right? And start getting people to understand how the transcription and analytics works. And then when we add these new features like the facial recognition, transcription summary, and even the local storage connections, that is going to be where we want you to really help us get that to life so we can do that. That's all happening in 2025. Our team is working so hard. I'm so thankful for the team that we have that has been building this product over the last 18 months. But the goal is to take it a lot further. And the only way we're going to do that is for you to help steer us. That's why we have Discord, so that you could come in and tell us what we need to do to make it better. So you got to get us that insight so that we can make this better. So we want you to try this product. It's new. It's in beta. Betas have bugs. I get it. But you're tough. You want to try new things. You want to save money. You want to be more collaborative. And you want to be a disruptor. I'm trying to disrupt this cloud world. And I think there's some serious flaws about how cloud companies have been built, how they charge, and how they work. And we want to take the value of local storage and the value of cloud collaboration and put them together. If you're willing to join us, tell a friend, get them to sign up for the app, try using the product, reach out to us, and tell them to join every Tuesday. We do these sessions every Tuesday because we'd love to have you, which would be great. All right, I'm going to call it a day. It's 10 o'clock here in Los Angeles. Wherever you in the world, have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. I hope you're doing great. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.